Okay, so now we're going to take a look at Cami. Cami is a Chrome extension that the district actually has been paying for since had COVID. So we have a full licensed version for it. So you'll be automatically logged in as soon as you launch um, any document in Cami, and you'll probably see over here your initials in the top right hand corner of the screen. Now, let's just take a look at Cami's screen for a moment. All of the main tools that you're going to use are on the left-hand side of the screen. At the top, you also have some tools as well. Like for instance, this is telling me that my file I have opened is from Google Drive. This is the folder. This is the name of the file. It says it's currently saved. This program will automatically save your files for you. So you might see an autosave pop up on your screen every once in a while. You can just check this to make sure. And if it's not saved, honestly, what you can do is just go ahead and reload and it will save it. You also have your undo and redo button. So as you're marking things up, if you want to undo something, you can do that quickly. There's also some options here, like I can open up a new file. This is previewing it like without the screens. When I'm ready to export, I will be able to, I'll show you this button. You cannot export into other file formats from Cami. Cami strictly works with PDF. So I know in Adobe, I showed you how you could save it as a PowerPoint file. You can't do that with Cami. There's also some tools in here that we may come back and show you in a minute. Um, there's also a share button I wanted to mention because these documents can be shared much like a Google Doc. Now, you don't share with people, but you share by link. So I could say, I want people to be able to come in and mark up this file as well. So I can copy a link and share it with them, and that would make them an editor. I could change it to them being a viewer, or I could create an individual copy for every single person that I share the link with. So those are your options, and then you go ahead and copy the link and share it. All right. So in Cami, let's just talk a little bit about what some of the differences are between like with Adobe. First of all, there's a lot of tools here to be able to mark up on your document, but you can't actually edit the document text itself. So if, for instance, like it did recognize the text, like I can highlight text. It's a little testy, but you can highlight different pieces of text. Let's see. Um, like this, but I can't actually go ahead and like type and replace the text like I can in Adobe. So you can't edit the document text itself. You can only cover it or add to it. So we're mainly going to be focusing on marking up documents in Cami. There's also some interesting tools that they've added that really are more adaptive tools that I will show you towards the end as well. So we're going to skip over those to begin with and go straight into how can I mark up this document in Cami. Well, the first thing you can do is you can highlight anything. So in markup, this is like your highlighter tool. So you can select the color of the highlighter you want to use. I'll use this one. And I can do different types of highlighters. I can have the highlighter be the free form highlighter, or where I'm just highlighting over things, or that's just for text. This is free form. I can highlight anything. And this is a box highlighter. I kind of like the box because it draws a perfect square for highlighting. And you can kind of control how big or small it is. So so you can obviously highlight anything you want. You can also add comments into your document. This is not marking it up. It's kind of like the whole comment feature that you'd see in Word and Docs. Adobe Acrobat also has a comment feature. Comments are basically, if I can do different types of comments, like it can be a voice comment, or I can have AI generate some feedback on this document. Or I could just do like a text comment. So if you did that, you would like click on the text that you wanted to comment, and it adds a comment here, and it's just really for feedback for the document. So we really won't be using that too much here. Now, a text box you will be using. So here I can change my text, my different font sizes and things like that. I can choose the color of my text. I'll stick with blue and then just click anywhere in your document and now I can type in my text. Once I have some text here, I can highlight it and I can change the font if I'd like to. I can also change the size. So now I have like all those kind of formatting options like you see in a word processor. I can even add a hyperlink to my text. I can do bulleted lists, all different kinds of formatting for your text. You can also add a background color to your text boxes. So I could choose one that I like if I want it to be white here, but maybe if I want it to have some background, I can choose that as well. And so that has an automatic background. You'll notice also there's an equation editor. So lots of different equation formulas, and they even have the musical note keys as well. So you can, when you're doing text boxes, you can also add in any kinds of formulas as well and type those and add them as you want. Now, now on the drawing tool, it's much like you would expect. First of all, you have the thickness of the line for when you're writing, and then you have your three most popular colors that you can use. You can also do this type of stroke, so you could have like a dotted line or a solid line, and you can have everything be somewhat transparent on the screen. I also can use rulers and such on my screen if I want to help me when I'm drawing this way. That's an option. You also can get rid of them by just clicking on them again. They even have this little compass tool so you can draw like your perfect lines with it by just like going around in a circle. I don't really know why you would necessarily want to use that, but you can. I'm going to do edit undo on that one as well. Now I can choose my three most popular tools for this, but so like I could change any of these colors. I could say, well, I like to write in pink a lot and I like black. And so it just keeps my three most popular here. So if I wanted to write on here now, it's going to be with whichever color I have selected. Now, let's say, for instance, I didn't want, I see this document and this is bugging me because I didn't want it to say AI up there. Here's a little trick you can do is you can use the eyedropper tool to match colors. So now I take my eyedropper and I'm going to put it right over that blue and I'm going to select it. So now that blue is selected and now I can actually come in here and just cut, draw over, whoops, I'm not a very good drawer, but you know. This is just one way of doing it, but I could color over this and it should be the same color blue and get rid of it. That is not a good thickness for me. I think I need to go a little thicker. There we go. So, you know, if you have a steady hand, this is one way to do this. Obviously, I messed that up. But just like an option that you can use the eyedropper tool to select your colors. And this comes in handy for things like this. Like here's, I can draw any shape I want on the screen as well. You can draw rectangles, circles, octagons, triangles, even different lines. One thing you'll notice too is if you hold like the shift key down when you're drawing it, see how it gives you the measurements as you're drawing it? You didn't really have to have the shift key down. You used to have to, but now you don't anymore, I've noticed. But let's say, for instance, I don't want the text here in this part of this article. So I want to draw I want to draw a shape over it. Now, most of the time your shape has like it's just an outline. Okay, so it's typically an outline, and right now I think I have it on dotted line. So it's typically an outline, but I want it to be a fill color. So you change that here with your stroke thickness. I'm going to say fill. And now when I draw shapes, they're going to be filled with the color. Now I want to match this color up, right? So what I can do is I could do the eyedropper tool, match this color. Okay, so here it is. And now I can draw a shape over this text and it kind of looks pretty natural now. And now I could go back and add a text box. Now, if I add a text box here, I am going to want to make sure that my text box does not have any fill, that it's set to clear. But now when I type my text here, it's going to be on top of the color that I wanted, and I can add my own text here. So that's one way that I can work on kind of adding and changing the text on this. You might find a lot of uses for shapes here. I mean, especially, if you're a math teacher or something, you may like that. Um, let me okay, I'm gonna edit this part out. And then notice that you have the eraser tool, which of course you can erase everything. Now keep in mind that the eraser tool will also erase text boxes as well if you get too close to them. So just keep that in mind as well, that it'll erase anything on your screen. You also can use the select tool to select items. So if you notice I had erased that background color here, but if I went up here under there, actually it's not erasing that. There it goes. So erase that as well. So you have to be a little careful about that as well. Now, another thing that you can do is you can add media into your file, and you can click that by clicking Add Media. And you can add media from your computer, so it can be pictures. You can take pictures with your camera on your phone. Grab this stuff from Google Drive. You can do a Google image search right in the document. It says OneDrive that we don't use. You can also add YouTube videos and also like graphic organizers. So they have like some different graphic organizers that you can add in here as well if you have some blank space in your document where you wanted to add something. You could go ahead and do that. If I wanted to do like a Google image search, I could just type in anything. I could type in the word classroom and it would bring up an image and just say insert image. And now this image is in my file and I can resize it and add it anywhere in the document that I want. Maybe I want to put it up here in my header. So different ways that you can play around and mark up and edit your PDF files as well using Kami. Now, once you're finished with this, let's say you've added everything up. You first want to check here and be like, okay, we're saved. It saved a few seconds ago, so we should be good. Now you want to save this, right? Or you want to export it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click export and I can either do, this is going to be a quick download for your computer with no settings, but I want to see the settings. So I'm just going to go to export and I want to say, where do I want this to save? I can save directly to Google Drive or somewhere on your computer. I can save just the original with and have it not include any of my annotations. So if I was worried about ruining my existing file, I can still go back to the original. Or I can say with all annotations. And then I just say begin export. Here's the file name. And then it goes ahead and processes it. And then if I'm downloading it on my computer, which is what I had chosen, it's going to ask me where do I want to save it, and I can go ahead and hit save. And then your file is now marked up and you've been able to save it. If you want to save it back to Google Drive, you would just come up here and just choose Google Drive instead. Here you would select the folder that you want it to go into. And if you click this button here that says flatten annotations, that just means that they will come as part of the embedded, like embedded as part of the document. So if you were to open up this again, you wouldn't be able to select on those. They would be part of the original text of the document, like embedded in.